Will BTS's Jin return to the stage with the biggest surprise of his entire career? Who is the mysterious figure who will allegedly duet with him in New York? Clues were scattered, and one meaningful sentence from Woodio's account managed to shake millions of ARMY hearts around the world. Are we ready for a moment that can change everything? This is the figure that will allegedly appear with Jin in NYC. Is the clue there? Can a single word change everything? Would one seemingly simple photo in the living room be able to provoke a storm of emotions and endless speculation in ARMY circles? If you think this is just a normal upload, you might want to take another look. And this time, deeper. Because behind the calm look of Jin's eyes, behind the faint lyrics that seemed to be thrown without intent, there was something much bigger going on. Something you probably don't want to miss. May 24th, 2025. This date has suddenly become one of the most enigmatic days in the world of K-pop. No official announcement. There was no press release from HYB. However, an Instagram post from Woodio, an animated character who had become a symbol of Jin during his time in the military, managed to turn ARMY's emotions upside down in a matter of minutes. One photo, one room, one sentence. Let's sing together. Don't say you love me. Why not I love you? Why don't you say you love me? Who does Jin mean? Dan. Why does the sentence appear at the same time as the image of him holding a microphone, surrounded by musical instruments such as guitars, keyboards, and lighting similar to a music studio? Is this just an ordinary photo shoot? Or is this a tacit signal of a major collaboration that will shock the world? Thousands of theories have emerged. But one of the most talked about is this. Jin will be performing live in a special concert in New York City. And not alone. Yes, you heard right, not solo. I think he's going to show up with someone. Someone who is not just anyone. Someone the public has long expected, but never really appeared on stage with. A figure that is even touted as an old shadow that is now returning to merge with the light of the Jin. Who is he? And why did the clue actually come from the animation account? Is this HYB's tacit tactic to make the biggest surprise of the year? Several ARMYs began to connect the dots of details that had been missed. In the photo uploaded by Woodio, it is clear that Jin is in a very familiar space, the living room of Fallon's band The Bright Show. Yes, it is one of the largest talk show venues in the United States and has previously been a place for world artists, including BTS, to promote their latest work. But what made the fans' hearts beat faster was not only the location, but Jin's expression in the photo. He wasn't smiling, but he wasn't completely serious either. He's visible emotional, as if they were hiding something, as if holding back the turmoil that cannot be expressed in words. And isn't that a sign of something very personal? Another clue? The microphone he held was not an ordinary studio microphone. It was a stage mic with a gold metallic finish on its lower side. The mic is synonymous with one of the top singers who has been known to have an elegant and emotional performance style. Is that Jin's? Or does it belong to someone who will perform with him? The question now makes netizens busy studying all the stage documentation from concerts in NYC just to match the shape of the microphone. And what about the written sentence? Don't say you love me. A phrase that is not only poetic, but also full of hurt. A confession? Or a rejection? Is Jin conveying something to someone from his past? Is the figure who will appear with him someone who used to have an emotional relationship, but never had time to be fully disclosed to the public? ARMY then recalled one name that has always appeared on the sidelines of rumors, an internationally renowned artist who once praised Jin's voice as ethereal in a 2022 interview. She is a famous female pop singer who is currently in New York preparing for a charity concert. And coincidence? The charity concert was scheduled to take place just 2 days after the upload from Woodio. Too many coincidences. Or is it just no coincidence? Some fans with observant eyes found something even more surprising. In one of the short promotional videos for the charity concert, musical instruments were heard that bore an uncanny resemblance to Jin's demo song that was never released to the public. A song that Jin supposedly created for someone he could never convey his feelings directly. The song was only known to the ARMY through a brief leak from a 2021 Weverse livestream that is still a mystery. Will we finally hear the song in full? Will the song become a symbol of reconciliation? Or perhaps a sweetest farewell? And is this the reason Jin has seemed to postpone many post-draft projects?
Is it more than just a solo album?
Something that combines music, emotion, and deepest recognition? Could this be an appearance that will leave us crying, speechless, and wondering all night long? What has really happened between the genie and the mysterious figure? What makes it all the more emotional is the fact that Jin has been known as the most secretive member about his personal life. He never said too much, but once he said something, the vibration reached his heart. And if this time he chose the NYC stage to speak through music, then we can be sure that this is not just a show. This is a message that may have been withheld for a long time. Have you noticed anything? In Woodio's upload, at the bottom right corner of the photo, a silhouette of a person standing not far from Jin can be seen. The figure appears wearing high-heeled boots and a jacket with a wing emblem. Not a fancy dress. It was the signature style of an international singer nicknamed the Vocal Phoenix, a name that has long been associated with Jin because of their chemistry that was seen in a Billboard interview 2 years ago. An interview that until now still holds many mysteries. Did I ask this just speculation? Maybe. But there are too many scattered signs to ignore. And HYB? They remain silent, as if enjoying the slow hysteria that envelopes the global fandom. As if knowing that once Jin appeared on that stage with someone we never expected, the world would fall silent. And maybe we'll cry, because it's not just about concerts. It's about a story that never ends. About delayed feelings. About someone who was once so close, but could never be together. Maybe now they finally have a second chance. And you know what's most surprising? Tickets for the charity concert, which initially only mentioned a special surprise guest, are now mysteriously sold out within 14 minutes of Woodio's upload. Without confirmation of who the guest stars were. Without a definite schedule. Only one vague hint. He is coming back to sing, not alone. She will come back to sing, but not alone. Does this mean that Jin will actually perform? And if so, who will stand next to him? Who will sing with her the phrase, "Don't say you love me"? Is this the love you never had the chance to say? Or a last message to someone who once meant so much? We're all waiting, with a beating heart, with eyes fixed on a New York City stage that is now an emotional puzzle field. One thing is for sure, whatever happens, this is not an ordinary appearance. This is something that will be remembered throughout history. And perhaps will change the way we see the genie forever. But why now? Why, after his enlistment was just over, Jin chose to appear on such an emotional stage? And not in Seoul, not in Tokyo, not even in Paris, but in the heart of the entertainment world, New York City. Is this about more than just a comeback? Is this some kind of personal statement, a form of emotional liberation that he has been keeping tightly in his heart? Many forget that before enlistment, Jin had implied that he was preparing for something very important in one of the Weverse Live broadcasts that did not last long. The words were thrown quickly, almost as if they were deliberately spoken in passing. But for the army, nothing is accidental from the mouth of a Kim Seokjin. And now, after more than a year, the pieces of the puzzle are beginning to come together. Isn't it time? Even more puzzling, why does HYB look so silent? Do they know that silence actually makes the wave of emotions even greater? Or do they not have full control over the plan? Some fans have speculated that Jin may be taking over all creative control of the project. He chose his own time, chose his own place, and even more so, choose with whom he will stand on stage. And if it's true that he's not alone, is that figure someone who was once called Jin in his song? What was the inspiration behind Abyss? Or perhaps someone who is never mentioned, but always there in the shadows of his work? Could it be that all of Jin's sad songs so far are letters that never arrive, and now it will be voiced live, with people who are supposed to hear it? What makes everything even more intense is the unusual presence of musical instruments in Woodio's photos. A keyboard with a certain brand label that has been used only by international jazz musicians, an old acoustic guitar with a blurry engraving of the last name, and a set of old headphones that look almost worn out. It doesn't look like new equipment from Studio HYB, but like someone's private property. Someone who brings history. Someone who may have unfinished memories with Jin. And let's talk about the last clue that made all this reach the peak of hysteria. let's sing together. That sentence is too straightforward to be a metaphor, too honest to be just words. Wouldn't the genie be able to write the most beautiful poem if she wanted to disguise something? But this time, no. He wrote a clear envy. But one of the biggest questions has not yet been answered. Who exactly will perform with Jin on stage? Who is so important that Jin himself seems willing to open up space in himself, in his music, and before the world, to share the spotlight that he is only used when singing alone? Clue by clue keeps popping up. And one of the most shocking was the post of a Fallon show stage staffer who claimed to see a long-haired woman in a black coat who walked into Jin's rehearsal room at midnight and came out with puffy eyes. Who is he? Why did he come secretly? And why does it look like he's been through something heavy? Some speculations mention big names. Some swear that the faint female voice heard in the leaked rehearsal footage has a tone similar to IU's, while others pointed out that it was not IU's voice, but rather the voice of someone from outside South Korea, an international artist who once publicly claimed to want to work with Jin. Is this the answer to an old promise that was once forgotten? To be sure, clue, let's sing together. Don't say you love me is not only an invitation, but also a refusal. The second sentence sounded so painful. Doesn't it sound like a message from someone who once loved, but now asks not to love anymore?
Who said that? Jin?
Or a duet with him? And is the song that will be performed later really new? Or is it an old song that once failed to be released because it was too personal? One of Jin's demo songs that leaked in a closed community a few years ago went viral again. The song never had an official title, but fans referred to it as Letters We Burned. In the song, Jin's voice sings soulfully about letters that were never sent, about goodbyes that were never asked for, and about one night that changed everything. Now, many believe that the song will be officially released as part of her special performance in New York. If true, and if the song is performed in a duet, then this is not just an ordinary comeback. This is the narrative of the wound. A sheet of heart notes written with tears and sung in the city that never sleeps. Imagine the genie standing in the spotlight, dressed in his signature dark suit, and a woman emerging from the shadows, welcoming him with a harmony of sounds that left the entire Fallon show studio speechless. Who wouldn't cry? Have you ever imagined hearing a genie sing while holding back a sob? Are you ready to see him turn a blind eye, not because of vocal technique, but because you want to hold back the memories that burst out? Will you be able to survive when you see his expression that had been smiling, now turned into a feeling that cannot be hidden? And what about the other BTS members? Do they know? Some fans caught J-Hope liking a Woodio post that featured a guitar on the studio floor, though J-Hope rarely interacted with the account after Jin was drafted. Then why is he back now? Is that a signal of support? Or a hint that they all know who will be performing with Jin? Taehyung, aka V, posted a picture of a night bird on his Instagram story with the caption, "I hope you sing this one. It deserves light." The image was removed just 10 minutes after it was posted. But of course, the army never sleeps. They immortalized him. And now the question is the bird a symbol of the song that the genie will perform? Or from someone who's been with Jin in an unfinished story? Conjecture after conjecture keeps popping up. Some mention the old name of the trainee Jin period, a female singer who once almost debuted but then disappeared due to health problems. His name is barely heard anymore. But in some old fan letters, Jin once mentioned that he lost someone whose voice he missed the most. Is that him? Question after question continues to prick. And we all know that the closer we get to the date of its appearance, the more clues will appear. But are we ready for the final answer? Because not all truth is pleasant. Some truths are painful. And perhaps Genie's appearance in NYC was all about confronting that truth. And what about the lyrics of the song that will allegedly be sung? Some fans managed to unpack the metadata from Woodio's upload and found the keywords sundown and the quiet left behind. These two phrases immediately caused an uproar in the fandom world. Is this the title of the song? Or part of the lyrics? If the quiet left behind is the meaning of Jin's performance, then this is more than just a concert. It is a reflection of all that is left. From silent love, from the taste left behind. What will you do when the whole world is watching a different genie? Not the genie from Super Tuna. Not the genie from Astronaut. But Jin Young might finally show who he is without a stage mask, without having to be funny, without having to hide wounds. And what if this was the only chance he could do that? Are you ready to witness a night where all the laughter turns to emotion? Where is every tone like described?